So I've always been enamored by the concept of 15 minutes of fame because it kind of encapsulates how my generation has tackled attention, because it shows that everybody has the potential to become famous, but only for a short amount of time. A little over a decade ago, my 15 minutes of fame begun. Now, growing up, I always loved attention. And one of the things my friends and I would do for attention was this thing called the face, which looks a little bit like this. So we would always do this thing we creatively called the face. Do it to each other while we would be taking tests or in class pictures. We even had a 5-step process on how to teach our friends to do the face. And so please follow along with me as I demonstrate. So first, you frown, then you flare your nostrils, you raise your eyebrows, you make your eyes big, and then you inhale. So, all right. I'm seeing some pretty good faces in here. All right. So my friends and I, we all went to high school together, and we also all went to college at the University of Alabama together. And when freshman year began, I was so excited to make new memories with my friends, but they got not only new friends, but girlfriends. So as a result, I became pretty lonely. And I started going to my college's basketball games by myself, and when I sat in the student section, I noticed that the other fans in the section would hold up giant signs of celebrities' heads and wave them around while the other team shot their free throws. These fans with their signs, my friends with their girlfriends, they all had something to hold. But I didn't. And then I had an idea. I decided to go to Sam's Club. That was the only place in town that did giant poster printing. And I run over to Sam's Club, I get a poster printed, I run back to my dorm room, I'm cutting the poster together with a piece of cardboard when finally, I finished my sign just in time for the game, which was on February 14th, 2012. I wanted my friends to go to the game with me, but they all had plans with their girlfriends, which sounded pretty suspicious for it being a random Tuesday in February, but I let it slide. So I go to the game by myself, I sit right under the goal, and I think to myself, hey, maybe my friends will see me and my sign on the Jumbotron. They'll get a kick out of that. And then the next day, I was pretty dejected because Alabama had lost the game. My free throw sign didn't really work, and I was single on Valentine's Day. So I decide to go to my biology class, and as I get into class, I sit down and my phone starts buzzing. And I look at my phone and I see that there's a picture of me from the game last night on Twitter, and it has 30 likes. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Anyway, and as class went on, my phone kept buzzing, and I was not allowed to look at my phone during class, so I had to run to the bathroom to see what was going on. And I get to the bathroom stall, and I unlock my phone to see that this photo now has 700 likes. I'm the top post on Reddit. I'm getting hundreds of followers by the minute, and ESPN is tweeting about me. Pretty soon I realized I've been in the bathroom for 20 minutes. My lab partner's gonna think I'm taking a dump. So I run back to my class, I sit down, I tell my lab partner, hey, I'm sorry I'm a little distracted right now. It's just a picture of me is going viral, and I think I'm becoming one of those memes. So I get done with class, I unlock my phone to see that I'm on the front page of yahoo.com. This was a big deal in 2012. My YouTube video of me doing the face has 1 million views, and my roommate has finally accepted my friend request. So I did a few interviews with some journalists, and then the internet had anointed me with the glorious title of the Alabama Face Guy. And it got so out of hand that I was flown from Alabama all the way to New York City to be a guest on the Today Show and Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, where I taught the host of both of those shows, the same 5-step process that you guys learned tonight. And I remember being so starstruck when I got to New York because NBC had paid for a private driver to pick me up at the airport. They also paid for $400 in room service, which as a college freshman, I did what anybody would do. I order a $125 steak and tip the staff $275 because we've all seen Home Alone 2 Lost in New York. And I remember on my drive to Manhattan thinking about how a week ago I was just a college freshman worried about his midterms. Now I'm living a life of luxury in the greatest city in the world. And I liked all the fancy things, but it was really the attention that I cared about. And my favorite part about that trip to New York City was going to the New York Knicks New Jersey Nets game the night I arrived in Manhattan. And I remember I got to the game, I had my face sign under my arm. People were stopping me and taking pictures with me. I get to my seat at the game and I sit down, and players on the New York Knicks were pointing and laughing at me, which was ironic because people always laugh at the New York Knicks. Later during the game, New Jersey Nets forward and recent divorcee Chris Humphries Kardashian got fouled and went to the free throw line. I knew that this was my time to shine. So I start waving my sign around, doing the face while he's shooting his free throw, and he misses it. And the crowd at Madison Square Garden erupts all around me, even coming in from the upper deck. I then look at the Jumbotron at Madison Square Garden, and I see my face there, and I think to myself, this is the coolest moment of my entire life. Until I tilted my head down just a little bit, and I saw this lady sitting courtside pointing and waving at me. Oh my God, that's Beyonce. She was sitting next to one of my favorite rappers of all time, Macklemore, and they were, no, I'm just kidding, it was Jay-Z. Of course it's Jay-Z. So they wave at me, I wave back, they laugh, I bow. It truly was the coolest moment of my entire life. Until the fourth quarter. Now, during timeouts at Knicks games, the dancers will come out and they'll dance to a song, and I noticed that they were dancing to a Beyonce song, which I thought, oh, it's weird they're dancing to a Beyonce song in front of Beyonce. I wonder what her reaction is. So I dart my eyes over to Beyonce, and she's staring back at me, doing the face. And then I lost all the cool I had in my body. I jumped up and down, I pointed at Beyonce, I mouthed to her, "You're my girl, Beyonce." It really was the coolest moment of my entire life. Now, following my press tour to New York City, I returned to my hometown where I was the biggest thing in Alabama since we got an Apple store that wasn't an orchard. And I was back at home thinking to myself, like, I thought this was going to be just a 15 minutes of fame sort of thing. But I just got back from New York City where people loved me. And I just hung out with my close friends, Jay-Z and Beyonce. Could this face thing become a bigger thing? And I was very flattered by all the attention and everything, but I was a little worried that it might go to my head. So I decided that I would connect with my fans online, and what better way to connect with people online than do a Reddit Ask Me Anything session. But that didn't go quite as planned. For example, the top comment on my Reddit Q&A was, "Have you ever made the face during intercourse?" Now, I really didn't want to answer this question, so I ignored it. But then, when I saw the top comment under that question, I realized I didn't need to answer it. And that comment said, "Top question 5 hours ago and still no reply, ... He's never had intercourse. Just saw below he's also an engineering major. Confirmed and understandable." You guys don't know how tough it is for Reddit to love you one week, and then the next week, they accurately call you a virgin. So after I saw that, I realized, you know what? 15 minutes is just enough time. Thank you all so much.
Jack Blankenship, everybody.